Good evening, everybody. Monday Morning Quarterback, episode 47, and we are still in Florida. Wrapped up at Daytona yesterday for the first round of the National Quarter Midget Series, and we've moved over to Ocala to kick off the National Sprint Car races. So, had a great week in Daytona, lots of wins by our customers, which was fantastic. And the USAC National Midget Series got off to a great start with Tyler Courtney sweeping both events there. And I think we had 4 of the top 5 the first night and 3 of the top 5 the second night. Hello, Rick. Great to meet you last week at Daytona. And glad you guys are tuned in. So don't have a real official program planned for this evening, as we've been traveling over here to Ocala today and getting set up and everything to get ready for this USAC opener. Got the shock trailer here and doing some work, getting some stuff done to test on Wednesday night over here. So we're here to answer all your questions. If you raced this past weekend in Daytona and got questions about some of the stuff we were doing and recommending for our customers, more than happy to answer that. If you raced anywhere this weekend or you just have a question as your season's getting ready to start, that's what we're here for every Monday evening. So thank you for tuning in. Next week we'll be back home and have back to our nicer little production area. Good evening, Dave. I presume you're in Austin for testing at COTA. The next round of the National Quarter Midget Series is with IndyCar at the Circuit of America there in Austin. So we're looking forward to making that trip. We're going to hit 3-day Now 600 race at Port City on our way over there to Austin in 5 or 6 weeks. So putting forth a big effort and setting aside a good portion of our budget for travel this year to get to a bunch of new places, meet our customers, help our customers, and try to continue to fine-tune our product and develop everything as much as we can. So anybody that's tuned in have questions, fire away. We don't have a real set agenda tonight, just going to answer questions. As I previously stated, we're here in Ocala, Florida at the hotel getting ready for some USAC racing this week. Mongoose gonna send a order in for some micro shocks. Awesome. Look forward to building them. We I raced 250 micros back in the late 90s, called 270s now. I think out in Pennsylvania or East Coast is kind of the only place that races those type of cars. The 600s have really taken over, but they were neat race cars. Joey Jones, good evening. Good to see you. You guys had some good runs over the weekend. That was awesome. Let's see. Mark Ashcraft, what factors do you look for in the track when setting your left side percentage? Mainly grip. So Mark's a quarter midget racer, and left side weight percentage is something we adjust frequently, and so mainly grip. So the higher grip track, the higher left side percentage will run. Lower grip will run less left side percentage as we need to stick the right side tires. So yeah. Michael Sampson, is Trevor enjoying vacation? You tell me. I mean, he's just over there living the life of luxury. Tbone, say good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Tbone did a cameo at our hotel in Daytona. He sang karaoke for a group of senior citizens. We'll post that sometime this week when we get bored, but he was volunteering there for a group of senior citizens, and he sang them All My Exes Live in Texas, believe it or not. It was a big hit. So Tbone's been working hard fixing quarter midget shocks and keeping our customers fast, and we're going to enjoy one more week of sunshine before we go back home to the cold. My family flew home today, and they were welcome to cold weather and snow at home in Indiana. So, Eric, I'm a bigger fan of a solid left side Nerf bar, especially like the lower rail being solid. Keep that weight as low as possible. I've never been a huge fan of a real thick firewall. If I do, I make it a little thinner than the frame so we don't bind the frame up. If you got a really light driver, again, for those of you tuned in, this is a quarter midget question. If you have a really light driver, that thicker firewall isn't necessarily a bad thing because you can get your weight a little higher, but typically I like solid left side Nerf bar. Helps you get that left side weight in the car when you need it, and sometimes that's hard to do on a quarter midget. You can only get so much left side weight in those cars without a solid left side Nerf bar. So Mongoose quarter mile momentum track Bridgeport. Yeah, we've got some notes for you, so you can if you're going to call this week and order or email me, we'll get that sorted out. If you're going to call the shop, you'll more than likely talk to Jake, as I'm going to be here in Florida the rest of the week. So for those of you that have been patiently waiting for the iOS version of our Pit Logic app, we hope when I return next week sometime to be able to issue a release date. Kevin's made some great headway there, and we're getting really close. Met a handful of customers using Pit Logic in Daytona, loved it, gave me some great feedback, and we're going to continue to refine the templates and everything to continue to improve the platform and give everyone what they need. Don, anybody using the bump rubbers? I can't say for certain. We never made it over to Ocala. It's about an hour and a half from Daytona. And so if we got out of the quarter midget track early, we would get over to Volusia, which was only about 30 minutes away. We wanted to see some of our wing customers. So haven't had in-depth tech conversations with our midget teams that were down here running. I'm sure I will this week, and I'll find out more about that. Alex, left front shock travel 360 wing car. Really depends on the size track. Typically on half miles, we're going to be about 2 3/4. Quarter miles, we're going to be 3 1/4 to 3 1/2, depending on how much rotation we need to get out of the car. So if it's a tighter cornered track and we really need the car to turn, we'll increase that left front travel, and it'll help rotation. So great questions. Anybody else have questions? Fire away. It's kind of just a open topic tonight. Don't have a full program planned since we're just traveling, but definitely want to go live every Monday to answer any questions you guys have and give you feedback, let you know what's going on at CSI and new things we're working on. So we appreciate you all tuning in, and we will have a nicer program next week with being back in the shop and having our all of our production stuff and a video. So how many of you guys, there's 50 or so of you tuned in, how many of you guys have already raced this year or getting ready to start here in the next few weeks? We'd love to hear from you. We've gotten to see a handful of racing since the shootout with quarter midget stuff, and we're going to get to see our first sprint car race of the year, first non-wing race this week. We got to see some wing stuff at Volusia. Rizzy, biggest difference in feel between gas shocks and twin tubes? That's a great question, but also a tough question. I feel if a gas shock's built right and the base valve's tuned right, you can get the same feel as you can with a twin tube. The biggest advantage of a gas shock is added support. The shock's going to respond quicker, and you'll hold a better platform. And I think you can just make more grip when you get more control out of the shock. And a gas shock definitely has more control than a twin tube. So Sampson, Tulsa 3-day race next month. We'll be there. We're hitting that on our way to Austin. So Steven already raced at Big O. How did you do? Actually, I think you might. Did you pick up a win maybe I saw? Chris Turner's getting started off at Arcoma. I know we got some guys running Greenville this week for the Now 600 race. Mike's going to be 1st of April, which that's kind of when we get started in Indiana. Cool. Russ Reed, you're going to hot lap at Waco. Russ, let me know how that goes. When's the last time you were in a sprint car? Colt, do we change valving from a standard track to a track like Columbus Indoors? We really don't. Columbus Indoors is kind of a super unique track. It's very line sensitive. The biggest thing there, when the track's really grippy, we add left side weight to keep the cars on the ground. When the track's got grip there, it's hard to keep all 4 tires on the ground. It's very bikey. Least amount of gas pressure a shock needs. That really depends on how it was valved and how the base valve is. Typically, with our stuff, 10 pounds or so. Tim North, trying to answer your question from Australia. Asking about a lot less hold. I'm assuming you're talking about rebound. Typically, we run a fair bit of low-speed rebound in our shock, so that might be something you want to get checked out. Not sure if the shock is working how it should. It's hard to say if it's an older shock, how long it's been since it's been rebuilt. So, anybody else that's tuned in have any questions? I apologize for the wiggly camera. I'm trying to hold it and read your questions. So, Rizzy, I want to ride an airboat with you. I looked on the way over from Daytona today, and I didn't see any airboats. I got to do an airboat ride in my IndyCar days, and we did an airboat ride and went out looking for gators, and it was an awesome experience. So if we can find an airboat tomorrow, let me know. I'm in. I wasn't up for hunting hogs today or whatever you guys were going to do, but I would like to ride in an airboat and see some gators. So we don't often get days off when we're traveling, so it's a rarity today and tomorrow. Sambo, yeah, lack of a cameraman. Tbone's over there just jacking around on Tinder and not holding the camera for me, so I'm doing the best I can. Lloyd Loss and Pit Logic help us in Colorado. I'm hoping you're saying the Pit Logic's working great for you in Colorado. If you're asking for Colorado setups, I apologize, I don't have a whole lot. I'm going to upload some revised Daytona setups and stuff. Steven, we're going to be here at Ocala through Saturday night and then heading back to Indy on Sunday. Neil, we mentioned earlier, next week we hope to have the release date for the iOS version of the app, and it's going really good. Kevin's been working hard on it. It's getting close. Everyone wants to know, are you on Tinder or Grindr, Tbone?
Tinder.
Tbone, tell us, Tinder, Grindr?
I'm on Tinder.
He's on Tinder. Tbone is looking for love in all the wrong places. All right, any other questions? We thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support of our product and our company. We're working hard for you guys, and we'll keep you updated as we continue testing down here and the status of the iOS version of Pit Logic. Hope you guys all have a great week. If I missed your question, shoot me a PM. Be happy to answer it. Talk to you soon.